It's Poppin. I'm Mychal, and this is Tesha. We're back with another episode. We're going to do something a little bit different today. Since we're getting close to back to school season, we are going to give tips for moms and dads that are going back to school. So, Tesha, this is a subject that's pretty close to our heart.
Yes.
Obviously. I think we should get started by just talking about our relationship to our kids and like being in school and what that means. So I have two sons, 14 and 9, and I'm currently a full-time student and their mom full-time, obviously. But so that's my load. And tell me a little bit about your kids and your family.
Well, I'm also a grandmother as well as a mother, but I don't have any young children. My youngest one is 19, but I certainly have been in a position where my children were younger. And back then, it was basically trying to, balance, real life with studying time because, kids don't understand that you have to have this time to study. They don't understand about, don't disturb me, don't come talking to me. I'm trying to study. So that's why I always set together some time to do my studying. I would do it early in the morning or I would do it like late at night. That's I say those are the best times of the day to do your studying.
Right.
Because you don't get calls that early in the morning nor late at night.
Right.
So I would say if you just go by how you feeling, your clock lets you know your end clock, your inborn clock will let you know. Some people are morning people, some people are nighttime people. So whichever works for you.
Yeah, I'm a night studier. When that assignment is due at 11:59, I'm turning it in at 11:58 just because that's the time that works for me.
Yes.
So we have put together, I guess like some care packages, you would say, for tips that we have for moms. Tesha, would you please let us know what you think would be best for moms to keep in mind while they're going back to school?
I would say to acknowledge your fear. Everyone feels fear. They feel the fear of the unknown. If it's a situation where they're returning to school, they haven't been back to school in years, or maybe they're a first-time student, and they don't know what to expect. They don't know what type of people they're going to meet. They're afraid of failing. They're afraid of the peers. They're afraid of the study session, not study sessions, but just the loads of homework that they're expecting. It's not, usually a person almost talk themselves out of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's normal. And it's also, I believe it's the same for, high school students because they're coming out of high school and they enter into a different environment, which is college. It's not like high school at all. Right. Everything is a whole different world. And like the fears that I had faced was when I hadn't been to school since 2012, it was like I was returning back outside. Returning back to the world,
right?
Because I was used to just working and coming home, and living my life, and then getting up in the morning, do the same thing again, and just doing that day to day.
Rat race,
yeah. So you got to get back used to it. It's like you add this new facet to your life, so you got to overcome the fear because you won't know unless you try it.
Exactly. Yeah, a way that I dealt with fear in class was to just be bubbly, extend myself in a way that I would want someone to extend themselves to me.
Yes.
And I've really been able to make some great connections in school. You being one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that when you wanted to do that podcast with me, I said, oh yeah, this is great because this is what I wanted to do. Because when I first came to that classroom, I felt so out of place.
Yeah.
Mychal, I felt like I felt like people was thinking in their head, why is somebody mom here? Like what's she doing here? That's thinking, this is internal thinking.
Right.
But I was letting it get the best of me. Because my son had put the fear in me, he's like, mom, when you start, it's gonna be people there straight out of high school, and he had like a smirk on his face, like, oh damn, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But then when I started, I found out that I loved it, because we were taking up communications and public speaking was something I never thought I would ever do. And then when I took it up, I like this class. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was like I found stuff out about myself I didn't even know. Yeah. Did you feel like that too?
I like that. Yeah, I did. I found out a lot of stuff about myself. I found I found out about skills I didn't know I had too. Like, what? I can do that? Okay, all right. I can go in front of people and talk for an extended period of time and it makes sense and you guys like it. I'm with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all about being yourself and embracing your true personality. Because life is not meant to be read from a script. You have to be yourself.
Exactly. I agree.
And so that brings me to time management. Because, you know, when you go into school, that's a whole different category from your life.
Right.
You know, sometimes it's hard to balance, you know, your life and then going to school at the same time.
Right.
Because real life gets in the way. And sometimes, like my situation in the past, I had certain situations that got in the way and I had to stop going to school.
Yeah.
So I don't want that to happen to me now.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to make that preventable as much as possible.
Yeah.
So, you know, one way is that you can use that time management wisely. I would say is setting together a day on the side that is, you know, that you know is good for you.
Right.
You know, the time of day, sometimes even location.
Yeah.
Like maybe the home setting is not the best one. You maybe can go to the library.
Yeah. So so what you're saying is like the who, what, when, where.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, because sometimes it may, if you got too many people at home and it's loud and you can't find a quiet spot to go to, then you can go to the library.
Right.
You know, you can go to the park.
Yeah.
You know,
as a parent, all that goes into time management too, because you have to compensate for the time it's going to take you to drive to school, or even if you have to drive and go pick up your kiddos and then be back for a certain time to hop on the Zoom class or to be in class in person, or even to just make sure something is submitted via Canvas if you're taking an online class. So I definitely would agree with you in saying that time management is paramount.
Especially if you have a job.
Yeah.
If you have a job, you got to make time for that.
Yeah.
You know, you have children, you got to make, you know, set together time for that.
And you have to figure out what works for you too. So like, if you manage your time and you can keep it all in your head, that is amazing. But I'm not like that. So I like to use my phone calendar, and then I have like a written out planner, old school calendar.
That makes me think about one thing. Sometimes we're guilty of trying to do too much at once. Can't do that because you're gonna find yourself burning out, and you're gonna be overloaded, and then you're gonna get stressed.
Yeah, carve out pockets to dedicate your mind to multitasking while you're doing your homework. Though it feels like it might be effective as far as saving you time, it's not efficient.
No, it's not. If you're trying to study for an exam that you got coming up, and then you're trying to cook dinner and deal with your children at home, depending on what their ages are, you may find that you might overlook something that was, you know, very fundamental in your lesson.
Vital.
So you got to have that quiet time set aside.
Definitely.
It's always a way. Some people think it's not possible, but there is. Anything is possible.
Yeah, when you manage your time, you really can do anything.
Yeah, you can do it.
You can do everything.
We can be our own worst enemies sometimes. We tell ourselves we can't do it, but you can do it.
Exactly.
And that brings me to learning, like discovering your learning style. Like some people learn better if they listen it, like if they listen to it with audio, if they are viewing it, or they can hearing it. Yeah. Like you got to discover your learning style.
Some people learn by doing it too.
Yes, that's another way to learn.
Hands-on tactile, like kinesthetic learners. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like that one's too. And then if possible, like if you have an instructor that's cool, you can ask them, would it be okay if they can, if you can record them, so that way you can take the notes home and then record. You know, you can make your notes. Exactly. And then I think they have note takers available.
Yes,
on campus,
right? Yes, via the tutoring services.
You can do that even.
And accessibility services, sure do.
Yeah, because the way I learn is I like to read the material and I take the notes, and then by the repetition of reading them over and over, that's how I remember things.
Same, me too. I'm kind of that way too. I like to make songs too.
Yeah, songs is a great way.
Yeah,
because you gotta make it fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with a good song.
Yeah,
because I think that's the best way to learn. Yeah. Who said learning got to be dull and dreary? It don't.
No, it should be fun. You should enjoy it. And that's like you definitely should enjoy it, and that's why discovering what your learning style is vital, because that'll help you enjoy it. It'll take all the difficulty out of it because you're gonna actually be like taking in the information in a way that is relevant for you to retain it.
And did you tell me one time about an assessment that you can take?
Yes. Okay, I don't have the link, and that is my apologies. But Google is our best friend. All you have to do is just type in, "What is my learning style?" And the first and second link are like very, very, very good as far as helping you discover your learning style. There's 2 quick assessments you can take to figure out what is the best way for you to learn and retain information.
Yeah, it's always good to know what works best for you, because some people, you know, they never learn a learning style even when they're in school, and then they get put in, you know, certain classes, and it could be just because they had a certain learning style.
Exactly.
And that brings me to embracing my culture shock. Everyone experiences this, I feel.
Yeah.
My culture shock personally was, as I was saying, I'm a returning student. I had been back to school since 2012. I had lost my mother, and then I just didn't go back to school. I was upset about, of course, her passing away.
Yeah.
And then life got in the way, and I had other things I had to handle, you know, working, you know, taking care of a family. And before you know it, years just passed. But I decided that I wanted to go back to school because I wanted to do some other type of, I wanted to do a different career change for myself. I didn't want to do the same thing over and over. So I said, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go back. I don't, you know, I know I'm older now, but I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people let their age get in the way. They're like, oh, I'm too old. There's no such thing as too old.
Never.
You just go back and do it.
Jump in.
You can go back at any age, and you can get that education.
So when you're talking about your culture shocks, was age the only thing that kind of shocked your system when you dove back in?
That and also seeing how everything had changed, because when I was going to school here years ago, the buildings weren't even the same. They remodeled the whole entire campus.
So you had to learn where the library is.
Everything was changed.
Where the counselors are, where the math building, like everything.
Even the buses, like the buses don't come there anymore. Not the ones, if you go to Vallejo, like they have a bus stop that you can go to, but you had to go down the street. So even that was changed. And also, I know they had online classes back then, but I wasn't taking any online classes.
Okay.
I don't think they had Canvas back then.
Oh wow, okay.
I know they had online classes, and they did not have all the services they have now. Like I noticed one thing, but I thought it was a good thing. They have a group of people like LGBT. They didn't have that before. I think they had a group, but I don't think they had their own headquarters. I think that's great that they have that.
I love that.
So that's cool. Wonderful that all groups are embraced. Represented.
I love that.
So that's wonderful. And I know they have a cat club.
Oh, that's cute.
You know, I haven't seen it, but I know it's somewhere on campus. I have a cat, so I'm thinking about.
I was about to say, you need to be beating their door down.
I'm going to look into that because I don't know the name of it, but I think it's kind of cool. They have these different kinds of clubs.
That's awesome. I like that.
And, you know, they got the daycare and all that. And that's another thing that's good for parents returning back to school, because they may be worried that they aren't able to go to school because they're worried about child care. But they have child care here available for parents returning.
Yeah, they do.
So that's something they definitely would loan them. And also, I want to add in, they used to have something where you could earn your parent time. And so you could either donate some items to the daycare, or you could do parent hours, like, you know, volunteering would happen.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if they still do that, because I remember my son is 19 now, so things may have changed, but they had that back then. And my last one that I have is the changes that we experienced since COVID.
Yes.
That when COVID hit, it caused a high influx of online classes, because, you know, of course, no one could come in person. And if you didn't know anything about online classes, you had to learn then. You had no choice but to learn. And as you were saying earlier to me, it also made things more accessible. Like, usually when you have to go to financial, usually you go to financial aid, you have to go to the office, you talk to the person in person or the counselor. Now you can do it on Zoom, you can do it on a video call, and I think that's great. And that's, if you're introvert, that's wonderful.
Right, it's helpful, yeah. Everything is accessible real quick through an email too.
And also, of course, all the stores, online shopping, that just blew up. And I wanted to, I was a highly active participant in that.
Right. So while you're online shopping, you can be sending your counselor an email about your academic plan.
Yes. 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 What kind of change you feel like happened since then?
I think the most noticeable changes with COVID is like classroom culture. When I started back, and it was after COVID, I noticed that people are like a little bit more hesitant to like jump in there and get to know you.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was kind of easier because you didn't have like, that in the back of your mind, like, oh, I might get sick if I'm like up on somebody I don't know like that. So that to me is like a little challenging of like the standoffishness that is apparent within the classroom. But when you have a good teacher, when there are really great participating students, the culture builds. It just takes a little bit longer.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah.
Everything is, people are still, recovering from that. It probably changed a lot of relationships. Not just relationships like with family, because you had to stay 6 feet away. And,
right, professionally, academically, like in every avenue for everybody. Yeah,
because we're humans. Humans like human contact.
Yes,
so we have to relearn a lot of stuff.
We need it. Well, thank you, Tesha. I really appreciated the points that were important to you as far as sharing with our village out there. I put together some things that I thought would be helpful for mommies returning to school too.
Oh, I'd love to hear what you have.
Oh, nice.
Y'all listen.
So my first thing is utilize all the services that the school has to offer you. Utilize them. Go. Meet everyone. Talk to everyone.
Yes.
See what people can do for you. It's really important. Now, the service that I want to shine a light on specifically is the EOPS program. They're in building 400 and room 429. And their hours are comparable to the school, but you can check their website out on the Solano website. And I just really love them. They have made it their business to make sure that I am a successful student. They have their own counselor, so I don't have to fight the masses as far as trying to meet with the counselor. They also have priority registration, which is really important because you want to be able to get in those classes that you need to have so that you can graduate and move on to the next step of either your career or your academics. EOPS helps with transfer stuff. They help with, you told me that they have job placement help.
Yes.
Their office is kid friendly, so if you need to bring your kiddo, they have computers in there, coffee machine, snacks, a big old comfy couch. They have a scholarship binder that you can just thumb through, and they've curated it specifically tailored towards moms. So a lot of that stuff in there you're gonna qualify for just based on having a kid. So I really like EOPS office. And you guys, if you're returning to school, and even if you don't qualify, you should just check them out. They're on Instagram, and you also can go to the office and go see Dara and the team and let them know Mychal sent you.
That's right. Do they also help with payments on things? Because when I got my student ID, I found out that you can ride the buses for free.
They do, Tesha, and thank you for reminding me. They give book vouchers.
Oh, they do?
Yes, $600 worth of book vouchers per semester.
Okay, that's great.
Yes, and it covers books and certain supplies from out of the bookstore, and that's really helpful. Having the burden of books be taken off my back really allowed for me to be able to go full speed ahead.
And that does help because books can cost a lot.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a full-time student, expect to spend about 600 if like all of your classes have books. And so for them to just be like, you literally just have to show up.
And they help with transportation, like with your parking or?
Yes, they give parking passes for every semester, so that their students don't get tickets and don't accrue more of a financial burden from being at school. So, I mean, I'm just like, utilize your services, utilize your services, utilize your services.
And if you don't drive, you can catch that bus with that student pass for free.
Right, for free.
Yeah, I've only used it once though.
Yeah.
They got some wonderful services there.
They really do. And that is like a segue into my next tip. And that is making connections. Connect with people.
Yes.
Make connections. Yes. I made a perchance connection with Tesha, and look at us now. We're having a podcast on the school's platform, and we're just it's amazing. So connections are important.
Yes, they are.
We are a walking, talking testament of what connections can do for you and how they can help you progress and move on to the next step, or even take a detour, because this is a detour.
Yes.
We would have never thought that we would be doing broadcasting stuff or having a weekly podcast, but here we are.
Yes.
And it's all because we connected with each other.
Yeah, it's all about the connection. You know, it's about asking for help. You know, if you don't know something, you ask. Don't assume.
Yeah,
you know,
there's
like they
no
say,
stupid question.
Like they say, closed mouth don't get fed.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And we like to eat around here.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And very grand.
Get
very grand
into
eating.
your class. Introduce yourself to your teacher. Sit in the same spot every day so that the girl that sits in the desk next to you, you can start talking to her and creating a connection. Or the guy that's sitting next to you, create a connection with him.
Yes.
And you guys have a little study group or a little group chat, and you guys can talk and ask each other questions that you wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable with asking the professor, or that is more like a peer-to-peer question.
Yes.
And that peer interaction is really important. Connections are so important. Making a village, weaving your quilt is going to lock you into the path of success. It's like, it's guaranteed to you when you make connections, because then people will look out for you and want to and check in and check up on you. And that's important when you are a parent and you are taking on essentially another responsibility on top of all of the other responsibilities you have. It's important to widen your network. My next tip is something that I advocate for all the time anyway, but especially if you are going back to school and taking on a new journey, and it is self-care.
Yes.
And it's something that goes to the wayside almost instantly when we start something new, or we get bogged down and busy and our schedule is heavy. But when you're in school, it might not be the 2-hour nail appointment that you were used to when you weren't in school. It might just be putting the bath bomb in the tub twice a week. But if you are carving out time to pour into yourself, to make yourself feel good, you're going to be able to go out there and be a shining star for your family. You're going to go out there and be a shining star academically.
Yes.
And that is what is going to carry you through to the next level. And as a mom, if I could just speak personally, that's why I came back to school, was to get to the next level, was to stop hearing those no's, was to be like, hey, look, like, I put in the work, like, put me in the game. So self-care is integral for being able to keep yourself present and calm and ready to go.
Don't deny yourself. If you're tired, take a nap.
Do it.
If you're hungry, eat a meal.
Do it.
Don't ever deny yourself. Don't put yourself on the back burner, because that's the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah.
You know, if you're unhappy, your kids are gonna sense that.
Yes.
You know, if you stress about something, they're gonna sense that. You may not think they're gonna notice it, but they will.
Yeah.
So you gotta take care of yourself.
Period. It's like on the airplane, what they say is like, if the mask drop, you put the mask on yourself first, and then you help who's next to you.
Yes.
So it's like, put your mask on, get to breathing, help everybody else, help you get to the next level. And self-care is something that has to be planned for. So my next tip is just to highly advocate for planning. Planning is so important. Plan everything down to the minute if you can. Okay, I have class at 6. That means I need to leave my house at 5:15 because I have to drop off my kiddo by 5:30 to be on campus at 6. You have to do that.
Yes,
and it may drive you crazy initially, but do it. Like, this isn't off the cuff. This isn't something that you can come in just willy-nilly and just show up and it works.
It's very imperative. You gotta do that time planning ahead.
Yeah.
Because everything you have to use a time plan for. You gotta go. If you have an appointment, you know you gotta leave the house at a certain time. You have to go to catch a flight. You gotta have a certain time to leave.
Yeah.
So everybody should be used to that. They should be. But sometimes you'd be surprised.
Right. Yeah. Because it's like, you know, old dog, maybe new trick.
Yes.
But I think that's my biggest lesson from being back in school is like, hey, when you plan, when you make accommodations within your schedule, you have it your way. And
Yes.
I like having it my way. And I think, like, as a mom, as somebody that is like the right hand man of the household, like, you know, my partner and I, we have to have it on lock. So I have to have it my way.
Yes.
Like, we have to have things running smooth, or then that throws everything else off. And how we can at least compensate for the variables is to have a plan. And even if the plan doesn't get stuck to, like, we at least have something, a framework.
Because sometimes things will change and you might have to change your plan, and there's no wrong in that. That happens. That's life.
Exactly.
You know, just have a plan. It doesn't have to be written in stone so much, but just know that you have a plan and make one that's easy to follow, that's realistic. You know, and if sometimes, like, even in something where you're not used to getting up early in the morning, you know, you can get yourself used to that. You know, if you do it enough times, you know, you'll get used to it.
3 weeks. Takes 3 weeks to create a habit. You do it 3 weeks straight, it's in there. It's like, it's in there.
Yes.
It's in there. 21 days. Give yourself 21 days. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna burn. It's gonna feel weird. You're gonna hate it. But as soon as you're in the flow, like, that's all you need to have. And so with that being said, we're gonna flow into my next tip, and that is only do what's manageable.
Yes.
Only do what's manageable. Within the time that you are building up your practice of what is like getting to class on time, studying, turning in your assignments timely, along with all the other things you do, because maybe you work full time. Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, but that is also a full-time endeavor.
Yes,
so you have to only do what you can manage. An example of this is I'm taking almost a full load in the summer, and I've had to tell people no. I've had to tell my family no. I've had to not hang out when I wanted to. But I'm aware of what I stand to benefit later.
It's all about saying, and there's nothing wrong with saying no. Sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
You know, and the person you tell no to, they have to understand too. And if they don't understand it, that's their problem.
Yeah, because you gain so much in putting things down. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you're gonna pick up school, be okay with the fact that you may have to put some things down that are like a little frivolous, like scrolling on Instagram or getting your Netflix in. You may just have to not do it as much, but that's okay.
And don't look at it as a sacrifice.
Right. And when you have that degree,
Netflix
all you want.
Yeah.
Netflix all you want. Well, that's the end of our podcast for today. it was really special being able to
Yes.
kind of switch it up.
Yes, it was. I enjoyed it a lot.
I like that too. And I hope that we created a network within this show of, you know, moms that are returning to school or
And dads.
moms, yes,
And dads, yes.
moms that have been to school or even grandmas
Mhm.
that have assumed the role of mom
Yes.
for whatever reason. So we want to know that you are supported by us,
Yeah.
but also by the college.
Mhm.
They want you to be successful. It's set up here now for you to be successful.
Yes.
So
All kinds of help.
believe in yourself, and
Yes.
you got it. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week where it's poppin'.
Poppin'.
The exponential growth from the program from my first year to my third year now, that's what keeps me coming back and keeps me excited and just like fulfills me as a person.
It's so impressive, and we every time we walk in here, you guys are doing something different. It's great. It's
nothing but opportunities here, and we have sports to cover, we have the equipment.
Because the more ambitious you are, the more opportunities you'll have.
On-the-job training is huge.
Get the hands-on experience.
When someone asks who can do it, you know, you can raise your hand and say, I can do it. So
Joining the class was the best decision I ever made.
Stand by, we're going to go to cut one. And cut one. Cross court to Audrey Jones. Audrey for three! It is good! With 1.3 seconds left on the game clock. Audrey Jones with one of the biggest shots ever.
the sky's the limit, really, with what we can do here.
College just got affordable. Up to 100% of enrollment fees can be reimbursed for first-time college students taking full-time classes. At Solano Community College, we are taking full advantage of this to further your future. With certificate and degree programs in industrial technology, aeronautics, biotechnology, and many others, Solano Community College is a staple for success. For more information, please contact the Financial Aid Office at 707-864-7000.